right, good day to all. Sam here with you on a beautiful day here in Austin, Texas. It's the 1st of March. We're kind of late morning-ish here. And after running the polling that we do amongst members here, I've got two contenders for today. First one is OmiseGo to Bitcoin. And this is on Bittrex here. So now I've got OmiseGo to Bitcoin. This is the 4-hour here on Bittrex. Now, just to be consistent, as I like to do, even we've done this coin before, we'll come over here to CoinGecko here, and you can see this has been pretty strong project, been around for 8 months. Good scoring here, right? Good scoring. We're pushing $2 billion in the market cap. We go over to see where it's trading. You know, it's interesting. It's spread pretty evenly. So here, dollar tether, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and pretty good spread amongst the exchanges where most of my members are trading it on Bittrex, so that's where we're going to look at it. So let's go back here. This is a little bit tricky, actually. So I'm going to open this up here. And you see all I've done is just wick off this low. Now, I'm not treating this as though this were a 1-2. I think this is just a complete recycle. We're starting from this low here, trying to establish if we've got a good Elliott count that we can work with. There'd be no surprise that we'd find algorithms are in here, and we'll take a look at that. So let's dig in a little bit more. Let me zoom in since we're only concerned with this section over here, and we can push this off a little bit. Now, you know, this is kind of that exercise that you all have seen me do many times, where I'm sort of reverse engineering what has gone so far and how that affects where we are over here on the hard right edge. So I think we can make a fairly strong case here that we have a 5-wave into a 1-wave here. And part of the way that you would do that is simply looking for the deepest corrections, right? We know that a wave 2 is most commonly going to retrace at least 50%, sometimes much deeper, at least 50% though. So that would be the first thing your eye would be looking for. Where can I see, what's the deepest retracement I've got along the way? And then, of course, this would likely catch your eye right away here, and that we have a pivot here, and then we have a challenge of that pivot that holds. So is that affecting the count? Could be here, but we can see prior resistance offers a little support here, and we get the reaction. So the reason to do this is because it affects our targets and where we are in the wave count and what we're expecting in the next retracement. So this is not an exercise just in, you know, an intellectual pursuit. This is going to affect how we're going to approach where we are and what we would anticipate is happening next, which is all just a matter of probabilities. There's no certainty here. But this is telling here that we get this is our deepest retracement. So if we look here, I've got this counted as a 1-2. Here's our 3. We get an A, B. Here's that, you know, you just see it so often in crypto where we get an A, B, C, but we get the shallow C wave and the truncated C wave here. So we get, the way I've counted that is the 4. So I look there and I go, okay, well that's what my eye sees. Let's check some of the stats here. So if I look just from my 2 low up to my 3, so looking for the retracement of the 3rd, well, I can see here the first dab down here is right to the 50. Okay, so from the 50, we know algorithms likely buyers there. There's their first target, we get a little reaction. 3rd target, reaction. Look, you know, when we go up and now we've gone to and through that 3rd target. So that helps me kind of make the case here that that's just what I want to see at the 50. Is that algo buying. Look how the Vegas wave holds. Here's the break. Now again, potential support. But it would be hard to call that. So it's tempting to want to do this and go, oh, well, A, B, C. But this little 3 wave here would suggest otherwise. Now we could finish in a diagonal, but I think more than likely here, it's this little push down here gives us that completed A, B down for the C, that truncated C wave. We get the 4th, and then we rip up for our 5th. So if we're looking at that, then if we're looking here, it's going, okay, well, I've completed a 5-wave sequence. This is my 2. Well, now I'm going to measure that from low to high and see if I can get a handle on where we are. Assumption being I've completed a 5-wave, so I'm going to take it from this low up to the proposed 1-wave. And what do we see right there? Okay, so this should be no surprise, considering what happened here. So we're right back down to the 50. Look at Vegas wave. Just Just beautiful. I love that. Right, so we go complete the 1, down for the 2, right to the 50. I get an ABC, and where do we go? To the tick. To the tick, algo target. First algo target. Doesn't mean we stop there, but the algos that bought here, they have achieved their objective. Mission accomplished. They have made all of that money. So here was the first attempt at it. Interestingly, we come back here and we tick the 38. See, the 38 holds it before we bump into this prior resistance. But, you can look left here as well and, kind of make a case here that you have this cluster over here on the left side. So you've got this area of support coming left. Always good to look left, even here. You've just got clusters here. Prior resistance. Here's the support. Worth just whenever you got to pivot. Markets just you don't have to take my word for it, but I would encourage you to do your own work and say, why does it stop there? All right. So if you don't know that that's an algo target, if you're looking at this, you're looking at that going, why did it stop there? Now, first question you got to ask yourself, is that just a random stopping? Are we running out of buyers? Is that what's causing that? I mean, at least that's the way I approach the market. I look and go, okay, whoa. Why is it stopping there? Well, I might do this as well and say, okay, well, if I'm pulling from swing high to swing low, well, there's the 50. So we bump into the 50 here, retrace, maybe a front run here. Now we've gotten through the 50. But if you don't know that algo target is there, you're kind of lost. You don't know why it's stopping there. There's nothing, if you look left, there's nothing here to really help me. You might, have to talk yourself into something here. Well, I got a little cluster here, maybe. You got to know that that's there, right, guys? I mean, you just have to know it's there. So swing low to swing high, the Elliott count just helps you determine it. So you look at that and you go, well, do I have my count right? Well, that certainly is telling that I've got my 2 right, because it would have been easy to look at this and just if you weren't willing to put the work in to try and weave through all of this and figure out, is that my 1? Because it would have been really easy to step in here and go, okay, well, there's my 1. 2, that'd have been easy. You got to do a little bit more work than that, right? I mean, again, trading is combat. It's you against the rest of the market, and their job is to take your money. And certainly the professional's job is to take your money, right? They got Porsche and Lambo payments to make. Their job is to take your money. So you need as much information as you can possibly get. And if you're not willing to put that little bit of work in right there, then you shouldn't be trading, or you certainly shouldn't be trying to approach trading the way I'm advising you to do it, or trying to teach you how to do it. Let me put it that way. Because if you're just going to be lazy about, well, then we're 1, 2, 3, 4, that looks like the 5, you're going to get eaten alive. And then you're going to come away with this Elliott wave shit. This stuff doesn't work. I tried it. I hear it all the time. Well, how much work did you put into it? How long did you study? How disciplined were you? Show me some details. Show me your charts. Let me see what you've done. I guarantee it's not a matter of whether it works or not. That's not really in dispute. It's really not a question of whether something works. It's a question of, does it assist you in picking reasonable risk-reward trades? Does it help you organize what's happening in the market? Because if you don't try and organize it, which is really all we're trying to do with Elliott Wave, this is just a giant cluster F. Like it seems totally random. How are you going to quantify what this is? Okay, I got a swing, I got a retracement. I suppose you could try and simplify it, but again, so you want to try and simplify and trade against professionals who are literally in there to take your money. You're trading against the smartest, most well-capitalized, best prepared minds on the planet, and you want to be lazy about how you approach the market. Moving average cross, that's all you need. Good luck, my friend. Good luck. All right, moving on here. So what do we have? So could this be? So if this is a 1-2, well, whoa, that's not how my pretty Elliott Wave textbook shows me that's supposed to go. Because the easy one would have been, oh, well, there's 1-2. Well, here's my beginning of my third wave. Well, and then, we might say, oh, okay, well, that's down here for my 2 wave. Whoa, what happened? Again, it's not supposed to be easy. So what could we make of this? Well, we could certainly potentially have a 1, 2 here. Now, yeah, that's deep for a 2. I got to get the 4, 5 here. I got to get my 3 up there. Hang on. So is that my 3? Well, maybe it's not the prettiest looking impulse, but that could very well be just the 1 wave of my 3rd wave. So if I got to reorganize these. So let's go up a degree here as well, and we'll go to minor. We'll change the color. Okay, so we'll go there. All right. Could this, if this is 1, 2? No, actually, I went the wrong way. Let's go back down. Sorry. Let's get that. Okay, so if this is 1, 2 of the larger degree, we've got a 1, 2. We're trying to establish where that is taking us. If this is 1, 2, our 3 is going to be up here. 4, 5, assuming it's going to follow this roadmap. Well, could that make sense? If this is a 1, 2 here, could I have a 1, 2 following it? Well, it is deep, so we got to measure it. So I'm going to take from the swing low here to my proposed wave 1 high. It's deep. It's deep. No question about it. So we go just a few ticks beyond the 786. That additionally may be part of it. Let me get that tightened right up on it. All right, so we actually get a wick through the 786. But we know a 2, just like a B wave, can go that far. Doesn't invalidate the count. It's common retracement level for a wave 2, right? The wave 2 is the push to get beyond this pivot, right? That would change the count. Doesn't happen. Up we go. So could that be a 1, 2? Well, if it's in the context of this 1, 2, well, that certainly could make sense. Let me bring this back down here. So this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going up here to try and catch the 3rd. So let me scrunch up a little bit. Could that make sense? Well, we know that if potentially if we're going to go the 1, 6, 1, 8, well, let's measure it so we can try and get a handle on where we might be going. So if that's my 2, well, I'm going to have this high probability zone up here. Right? That's my 1, 6, 1, 8, 1, 7, 5 window. Does that make sense as my 3rd? Could be. 4, 5, that could play right there. So look at that, just a hair short of 100%, assuming I've got that right on. Just trying to get that, but interesting, as I showed you before, as we looked at this, that's right, could be the reason we're not getting there. Look at that confluence. The 100%, right into the negative 23, and then we've got this negative 23 right here as well. So reasonable to think that we might have one more push here, which would make this look more, that's kind of shallow there. We'll have to dig in there a little bit more, but we could be well on our way towards this upper target, and we've got to allow some time for that to happen. But we sure have a big cluster right here, a big confluence zone. This is where we qualify it as a 3rd because we've now moved at least 100% the length of the 1. So we know at this point we don't have a 5 to measure it against, so we don't want the 3rd to be the shortest. So it could pivot there. Right? Remember, 3rd doesn't have to be the longest, just can't be the shortest. The only thing we've got to measure it against right now is this 1 wave here. 2, it's just shy of it, right? So just a point of note here, but the 23, the algo target, they get the reaction. That doesn't mean that we're doing this. We could just be retracing before we start heading back up. So knowing that we've got that there, let's pull some of this off and go, okay, well, if that's what, do I have 5 there? Let's dig into that on the 1 hour. Could I make a case for that being a 5? Well, that might be, yeah, let's measure it. Same process, guys, exact same thing. We're just in a different leg. So if this is a 1, 2, where am I now? Well, look at this. So we've just come up, we've just gone into the high probability zone for my 3rd. Well, that's a little funky to get there. So I might, noting that, now I might sort of reverse engineer in here just as I did where we started. Well, where's the deepest retracement? Well, these are pretty deep. Could this be, yeah, well, that looks, now I start looking at that and go, okay, maybe what we've got here is a diagonal. Maybe I've got a 1, 2, although this looks, that looks like that's 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it's hard to ignore that now that we come down to the 1 hour. So I'm going to take this off. Okay, so does this make sense? Well, we start seeing some tells here, some clues. Well, here's the potential one wave here, which I would, come here, always suggest you wick off. All right, so that's a tell to us here. The 4 does not overlap here. So I've got a 1, 2, and again, so I've got actually 2 one waves here. Do you see that? So within this third, I've got nice subdivision, just what you hope to see, because it's just going to make your job a little bit easier. So within that, I get a 1, 2, 3, 4, just barely, don't overlap. Let me change that. Let's go here, and we'll take this. We're going to have to go up. We've got so much subdivision, we got to change these degrees. So let's go up a degree. Okay, so does that play? 1, 2. I get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into my third. Nice. Let's check that length here. So because we knew we had the 1, 6, 1, 8 here. So if I come in here, well, there's the 1, 2, 7, 2, right? Square root of 1, 6, 1, 8, common target. So that, you know, definitely. So let's look at it again. So remember, waves within waves. So we can look at it here. We can look at this one wave projected from that 2. You know, so here was the 100. Well, here was the first zone here. So now we got to really dig in here. So here was the relative to that smaller degree to this degree. Here's the 1618, 175 zone. We get through. We don't quite make the 2618, but that's starting to shape up for me as a clean impulse wave. Right? We don't overlap the 1. So within my 1, 2, I get a beautiful 3. And now I'm coming down for a 4. Now that looks to me like, there it is again, right? So A wave, B, you know, C wave, this is a little funky. So it looks like we've got, so again, same thing. Let's just measure it, right? So don't guess, measure. So from the 2, come here, to the 3, get it right on there. What do? Oh, what a coincidence. Right to the golden zone. So from the swing low, swing high, we go to the 618 to the tick. Then where's that target? Right? So where's that algo looking for? So they start buying at the 50, they defend it all the way to the 1618. Come here. Where's their target? Right? Oh, shit. Come here. So what I'm trying to show you is, which is clearly pretty obvious here, their target is right here. So now we try, again, we're putting the puzzle together. Is all we're doing here. So because you can look at this and go, well, why do I care about any of that? I'm over here trying to figure out what's over here. Well, if you want to know where that's likely to go, you got to care about what just happened. So what do we have? Now we've got this big confluence zone here where we've got this cluster here. We knew on the larger degree that was the 1618. So the fact that that's completing right there, right as we come in and actually get through this algo target, we get this reaction. Right. Again, just putting the puzzle pieces together. Okay, so where does that put me in the larger degree? Okay, I got to go up a degree actually on this. Let's make that easier to spot. Let's go up to intermediate. That's always easy to work with. Okay, so take note here. Where are we? Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2. I got to go up a degree on that one too. And sometimes it's trying to keep track of it via degrees is a little tricky. Okay, so that just the color coding and the changing the degree by whether it's circled or parentheses or Roman numerals will just help you organize it. Okay, so I've got 1, 2. Largest degree here in white, 1, 2, followed by 1, 2. Right, so I've got a completed 5-wave structure here. Well, what could that be? Well, that's certainly, if we're, let me pull out a little bit. If we're trying to play this off of this target, after these big targets up above, well, we're just getting started. So this could very well be, right, if we're going after this as our 3rd wave, this could just be the 1 wave. So let's think about that. Does that work? 1, 2, 1, 2. Well, unlikely that this is our 3rd, although, you know, again, you got to check it. I think we, as we just did, it came up a little shy of the 100%. So let's go here. Now we're kind of double checking. So right, so it's not enough to qualify as the 3rd relative to this degree here in blue. It's not enough. So what does that leave? That only leaves it as a potential 1 wave. Now, we don't know. We might get another leg up here. But right now, that looks like, in the context of this degree here, looking to get to that 3rd, this is a 1. So if that's the case, we label it. And we go, okay, I'm putting together a potential roadmap. potentially 2. I got to get up to a 3, 4, 5. Maybe this is going higher. Right? 1618 is just the most common, but it can certainly go beyond that. So now I got to look at this and go, okay, wait a minute. Let's go. We'll go to yellow. We got to change that degree. Let's go to minor. Okay, well, I'll just get the digits. Okay, could that work? Okay, 1, 2, 1. What am I looking for? Now I'm looking for the retracement. So again, I'm just going to measure it. Same thing. Just another 5 wave. Just as when we started, where we identified this 2. Where's the potential 2 here? It looks like I've got a lot of good things happening here. I've got algos in, and so it's trading perfectly technically, right? We've seen it to the tick at the negative 23.6s. Now we've got good sub as we are in here just trying to get behind the algos. Look how pretty the Elliott wave is playing. Okay, so that's giving me my potential roadmap. So there's no reason to steer away from this, because it's playing perfectly. So you trade it until it fails. Right now, I've got perfect subdivision here. This can't get any better. I've got set up to take a 1, 2. So the fact that we're pulling back here, that's exactly what I want to have happen, because it's setting up for the next potential entry. Where's the entry? Right here. Where's the entry? Right here. All right, we know a 2, and again, you know, it's not guaranteed to get there. It doesn't mean that it must go there. We've seen more than a few 2s that will bounce at the 38. You know, the stronger the market, it's low odds, 12%. 12% wave 2s turn at the 38. Over 60% down here. So we don't want to take the 12% trade, even though we might miss it. It might do this. Okay, no problem. Okay, so I got a shallow 2. So you miss that one. You don't take, but you play the odds. That's it. That's all you can do. You gotta say, okay, odds are it's down here. There's my next trade. So I've got potentially setting up just this gorgeous roadmap. So I've got this target up here, potentially, right? We already wicked that off. That's a hot box. We know it's relative to these prior 1, 2s. So this is setting up beautifully. So interesting, look how these prior 1s, prior resistance, lays up in here. That's why I like to leave those on. So can I get an ABC down into this? Come here. Would sure be convenient if I could get that. Now, if it gets there, and we've got a 3-wave ABC coming down into this zone for a potential 2, knowing we've got these targets up here, you got to take that trade. I don't know how you don't take that trade. I mean, just having gone through all of that, qualified all of these pivots, you've got a beautiful Elliott wave structure in here. We know algos are active in here. I've got a swing low to a swing high. If this thing comes down in 3, that's a must take. That's a must take trade. Well, sometimes I'm loose with the language. For me, that's a must take. I would just but you don't have to sit and watch the chart. For the next 2 days, you alarm it. So I want to know when it gets to the 38. Send me an alert. Alert me. Pop up on my screen. Send me a text. Something. Let me know that it's getting there. Oh, okay. Well, good. All right. So what did that A wave look like? Oh, that's good. Well, I know it's trading technically. Okay. Am I going to see a bounce there? If I get a bounce at the B, okay, good. If I start coming down, I revisit that 38. Alert me again. Let me know when it gets there, because I want to know when it comes down here. I want to see what that reaction is at the 50. Do I get a little pop? Any help from the oscillators? Anything else I can use here to get more confluence to confirm for me that this is a place I want to get long? What does the risk reward look like? Well, the first target would be up here. We already established that. So what does that look like? Would that make sense? Well, if you took front run on the 50, first target up here, stop on the other side of the 65, you'd be tight with it. There's approximately 6 to 1. Nothing wrong with that. 6 to 1, we're just getting started, because the big targets are much higher. So if we think about that in terms of, if we're going to come down to a little deeper, we're going to go between the 50 and the 618. Well, then we know relative here in yellow, right, that third is going to be closer to the negative 100. All of this starts to roll up higher based on what happens here. What kind of third do we get here? Do we get through this? Right? That was relative to a prior 1, 2. We know it's likely to be some resistance. Then you got to step all the way back out, and say, well, where is the 68 on the way coming back? Where's this resistance going to be? right? You got to factor that in. Can't ignore it. It's a swing. We know algorithms are going to be written to sell there. We got to get through this. We already bumped into the 50 here. Here's the bump into the 50 reaction. So you know they're in there. You know there's sellers there. Just because there's sellers there doesn't mean we can't get through it. It just means know it's there. It's just like that negative 23.6 that was right here. You got to know it's there. Boom, boom. Where are we going? Can we get through and get up here? There's the 786 sitting right there. All resistance points. It's not to be afraid of it. It's just to know that it's there. So that might be a place, depending on how you want to approach trading this, where you might tighten your stop up a little bit, reduce some risk. What you see, if you get a move here, that's good news, not bad news, because it's the novice trader who's like, go, 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 keep going. It's just going to the moon. No, and that's not how markets work. It doesn't work that way. You want the retracement there. You're like, oh, but I'm giving back some profit, man. No. So that would be a logical place to take a partial profit. This would be a logical place to take a partial profit because that's all relative to these prior 1-2s. You're likely going to hit some resistance there. So if you want to trail with a stop, let the market take you out. You want to take a partial profit there and you're willing to retrace here because you're looking for the next opportunity to add, looking for that fifth, because you're looking for this. Well, it's right on the roadmap. Why would you not do that? You've already made this, right? Assuming if we get that, if you're up here, well, now you're playing with house money. You want to put some in your pocket here. You want to bank some, realize the gain. Then you're a lot more comfortable taking the 4. A lot easier to do it. Oh, it's house money, house money. So where am I going next? Right? You keep pushing them up. If they're going to keep going, you just stay with it. Where's the next 2? Where's the potential 3rd? Where's the next 4? Where's the high probability zone that this is likely to go? If it's going to follow this pattern, where are we likely to go? What do the probabilities tell me? Where am I wrong? First question, where am I wrong? Where does this count get invalidated and this whole thing has to be looked at again? This is just a potential roadmap. For all we know, this thing goes up here. We do an ABC. We don't know. We come up here to 6. Boom. We don't know. Could easily happen. Oh, and then you're going to go back at it, and I'm going to come on and say, well, algo sold it there. Seller bears win the day. This whole thing falls apart. Certainly could happen. You have to realize that can happen. See, people get on Elliott Wave and they think, oh, well, it must complete. It's there. Here was a perfect 5 wave. Well, then it must continue. Well, no. The market doesn't have to do anything except continue to challenge you and frustrate you, and professionals continue to work to take your money. That's the respect you have to have for the market, right? As I have often told you, markets give reluctantly. They take aggressively. Don't let them take your money. Best you can. But you can't, you got to put yourself in a position where you've got some risk. There's no risk-free trading. There's stops there's entries you can place and then move a stop to break even. That's as close as you get. That's often called a free trade, where you have no risk, assuming your stop gets hit. But this is all just a potential roadmap. And we just move, we adjust, we adapt to how it moves along the way. Right now, no reason to think this won't happen, but I don't make the mistake of thinking that it must happen. That's a mistake that a lot of times new members will come and say, well, I saw this, so it must do that. No, doesn't have to do anything. This is all just potential. Right? The more it follows, the more confident we get in each one of those pivots. But we got to have the retracement, right? As I've said in many videos, we don't buy breakouts. Well, I don't buy breakouts. I buy retracements. When it's going higher, I'm waiting for it to go on sale, relative to where it was before. All right, guys, I'll wrap it there.